Hi. I am reading from our project of research that we did when we were re-examining the Watchtower. This particular one is about the first issue on false prophecy. And so this one starts with a couple of quotes from the Reasoning book, Reasoning from the Scriptures. The section they have on prophecy, false prophets. They say, when true prophets foretell, what true prophets foretell comes to pass, but they may not understand just when or how it will be. That was on page 134 of the Reasoning book. 1985, that one was published, and we carried it around from door to door. And it gives you things that you can say to people when they have a concern. So one of them was about false prophecy. The other statement that they made on page 136 in connection with false prophets, and if somebody is criticizing you that the Watchtower is a false prophet, they say, matters on which corrections of viewpoint have been needed have been relatively minor compared with the vital Bible truths that they have discerned and publicized. So the Bible truths they're talking about are not prophecies. They're talking about things like God's name, doing the preaching of the kingdom. So they just more or less redirect you away from the false prophecy and call them minor issues compared to truth of the Bible on doctrine. This was their way of switching your attention. So in our research, we put forward two scriptures as principles on the way God tells us his standards. Philippians 1 verse 10 reads that you may make sure of the more important things, so that you may be flawless and not be stumbling others up on the day of Christ. So if you stumble someone, it's not a minor thing, it's a major thing. We are to be without reproach. Ecclesiastes 5:2. Do not hurry yourselves as regard your mouth, and as for your heart, let it not be hasty to bring forth a word before the true God. For the true God is in heaven, but you are on the earth. That is why your words should prove to be few. Good counsel. I'm going to read to you from Prohibition and the League of Nations, which was a booklet published in 1930. On pages 56 and 57, Rutherford appeals to a biblical example of a true prophet of Israel and a false prophet of Israel. This is what he says. God sent his prophet Jeremiah to tell the people that a great trouble and war was coming upon them, and that they should turn to the Lord. Hananiah, a self-appointed prophet, disputed the statement of God's prophet and urged the people to believe that there would be no war, but lasting peace. The result, therefore, I quote from Jeremiah 28, verse 15. Quote, Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, Hear now, Hananiah, the Lord hath not sent thee, but thou makest this people to trust in a lie. End of quote. Then God's prophet, addressing the false prophet Hananiah, said in verse 16, quote, "Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth. This year thou shalt die, because thou hast taught rebellion against the Lord." Thus God has declared his purpose in dealing with those who persist in presumptuous sin before him. So this is a good example to be read, Jeremiah 28, because you do have Jeremiah the true prophet, Hananiah the false prophet. Hananiah did not say what Jeremiah said was completely false, but he didn't like the timing. He wanted it sooner. He wanted it to be a shorter period of time, say. He wanted things to be over and peace to be earlier. Read Jeremiah chapter 28. It made a big difference to us reading that chapter. But what has been the organization's history? Have they not been self-appointed prophets? And have they not caused people to trust in a lie? So the next quote is from a publication called The New World, 1942, page 249. They said, "They shall know that Jehovah is God, who holds and retains the universal dominion, and that he has had a prophet among them, namely, Jehovah's Witnesses, who shall be preserved through Armageddon in vindication of his name and promise." The Reasoning Book on page 136 states that they're not witnesses don't claim to be prophets. Well, this seems to contradict that. In the Watchtower of June 1st, 1967, page 331, it says, "False prophets do not correct themselves. God's people do." Then we have a quote from "The Nations Shall Know That I Am Jehovah." This is a 1971 publication, page 292. "Better it is to know now, rather than too late, that there is an authentic prophetic class of Christians among us. What is to be gained by hesitating and doubting to the end that Jehovah can raise up, and has raised up, a genuine prophet within our generation?" From the April 1st, 1972 Watchtower, we read, excuse me, "Does Jehovah have a prophet to help them, to warn them of dangers and to declare things to come?" And then there was a subtitle identifying the prophet. These questions can be answered in the affirmative. Who is this prophet? This prophet was not one man, but was a body of men and women. It was the small group of footstep followers of Jesus Christ, known at the time as International Bible Students. Today, they are known as Jehovah's Christian Witnesses. Of course, it is easy to say that this group acts as a prophet of God. It is another thing to prove it. I just missed a line here. The only way that this can be done is to review the record. What does it show? Since no word or work of Jehovah can fail, for he is God Almighty, the nations will see the fulfillment of what these witnesses say as directed from heaven. They are speaking of themselves as prophets. And to this day, if you say to witnesses they claim to be prophets, they tell you, no, we never claimed to be prophets. Another quote from 1978, the Watchtower, January 1st. How like Hananiah are those modern-day false prophets who try to tear down the work of Jehovah's Witnesses with evil intent. Just as surely as Hananiah died under Jehovah's judgment in that same year, so those opposing prophetic groups must be executed in due time. Real refuge lies in Jehovah's provision through Christ. He sends them, the modern-day Jeremiah class, with a message that means their salvation. No, the safety of such Jonadabs is not to be found in broken-down Christendom, but squarely on the side of Jehovah's modern-day prophet. They claimed to be a prophet. I'm going to link to a video where David and I spent some time on the impact of Jeremiah 28 that it had on us. Thanks for watching.